All right, station Houston, back with you. And HTV has begun approach from 30 meters. Please perform step number 9 in 1.102. You are primed to issue retreat if the nav range goes below 6 meters. Also, if you could give us camera 3 to the settings in the robotics procedure 1.110 for the monitor 3, camera 3 settings, we'd appreciate it.
Copy all, we're in block 9 and the camera actions are in work.
Thank you very much, we can see that.
This is Mission Control Houston. The HTV-4 cargo craft loaded with more than 3.5 tons of supplies, spare parts, and experiment hardware for the Expedition 36 crew on board the orbital outpost is slowly making its way inside 30 meters to a capture point that will be just 30 feet away from the station's robotic arm, which soon will be under the control of Flight Engineer Karen Nyberg from a robotics workstation she and Chris Cassidy are working from in the cupola of the International Space Station.
Still be commanding the cameras, but they're fixed to a pan of 70 and 65 now. And if you're ready, here comes a block Bravo.
Thanks for the camera help, and we're ready for block Bravo.
Everything looks wonderful. The strobe is very much within the crew aboard quarter limits. The vehicle size matches the outline. The position of the strobe is on the starboard edge of the strobe tracker circle, but it's essentially there. And the strobe tracker circle itself is just slightly starboard and just slightly aft of the center crosshairs of the abort quarter limits.
We copy the block Bravo, and it sounds like we got good alignment. And just from here on out, you guys, the cameras are all yours.
Okay, we appreciate those words. We are primed for cameras, and we'll consider block 9 complete unless you'd like an additional block Bravo as we get closer to the stopping point.
And Chris, whereas your block Bravos have been nicely converging, I think we won't need any more from this point on.
Okay, copy all, I concur. And next action's in block 10.
Right, and we'll call you for block 10 when we're ready for it.
Moving into an orbital sunrise, the International Space Station and the HTV-4 cargo craft now slowly being illuminated. 25 meters now separating the two spacecraft. 21 meters separating the HTV-4 from its capture point. The International Space Station and the Japanese cargo ship flying to the west of Lima, Peru. With its 28 reaction control system jets behaving normally, the HTV-4 approaches at a rate of just 1 inch per second, now inside 20 meters away, with capture still expected around 6:29 a.m. Central Time, although that could be accelerated if everyone is happy once the cargo craft reaches its capture point some 14 minutes from now. The Japanese cargo ship will spend a month at the International Space Station once it is installed, as the crew works to unstow the internal cargo, the pressurized cargo that is housed in racks inside the spacecraft itself, and the robotics work that will take place beginning late Sunday to remove the exposed pallet from a slot on the side of the HTV that currently houses a pair of critical spare replacement units, a main bus switching unit, and a utility transfer assembly unit for the solar alpha rotary joint for future use on the station, as well as a pallet of materials experiments for the Defense Department, all of that hardware to be mounted in the weeks ahead on various points on the truss of the International Space Station. "15 meters now separating HTV and the International Space Station. The two craft approaching the west coast of South America, and will soon be flying from northwest to southeast just north of Santiago, the capital of Chile. The visiting vehicle officer reports that HTV is inside 15 meters, continuing to close at a normal rate. Outstanding view, sunrise over the limb of the Earth as the HTV puts itself into a point very shortly for its final grapple by Flight Engineer Karen Nyberg, operating the Canadarm2 from the cupola of the International Space Station. This view now from a camera on the latching end effector at the end of the station's Canadarm2. Briefly lost our downlink television capability from the International Space Station. We'll reacquire that capability shortly for a sliver of time. Meanwhile, you're looking once again at the graphical portrayal based on real-time computer-generated data from the visiting vehicle officer's console of the HTV-4 right in the heart of the capture envelope, the inner capture volume, as it approaches its capture point of just 30 feet away from the station. And this view, also based on computer-generated data from the robotics console, the robo position here in mission control, showing the separation distance between the grapple fixture on the side of HTV-4 and the latching end effector at the end of Canadarm2. An American-European trio monitoring HTV systems, soon to grapple the Japanese cargo ship with a Canadian-built robot arm, reflective of the multinational flavor of the International Space Station. Flying directly over the heart of Argentina, you can see the HTV rising into view of the latching end effector's camera. You'll soon be looking right down the heart of the grapple fixture on the side of HTV-4 that Karen Nyberg will latch onto a short time from now. Now less than 11 meters away, closing at its normal rate of about 1 inch per second. A good view of HTV-4. No deployable solar panels on this cargo craft, unlike its companion craft. The solar panels basically wrapped around the body of HTV to provide electrical power for the spacecraft. Outstanding views of the orbital choreography being performed as the International Space Station and HTV-4 are just 10 meters apart. The two craft currently flying 260 miles over the South Atlantic. We've updated the capture clock to reflect a predicted grapple time of about 6:26 a.m. Central Time, just a few minutes ahead of the predicted grapple time. Nothing magic about that time, with as long as the lighting remains good for the crew on board the International Space Station. Just about 8 meters separating HTV from the International Space Station. The final capture sequence will involve the inhibiting of the thrusters on the International Space Station. The space station's robotic arm, under the control of Karen Nyberg, will move in from its current high hover position. The HTV itself will be commanded to what is called free drift. All of its thrusters will be disabled to avoid any inadvertent thruster firings during the time of grapple itself. And then at that point, it's simply a process of Nyberg moving in with the arm for latching on and a final capture of the spacecraft.
The capture point hold confirmation.
Copy, Houston, step 10. The VV mode, sub mode are as per the cue card. The range, nav range is 9.2, and the range rate is 0. The grapple fixture is stable and within the capture volume on both monitors. With that, we show the capture point hold is confirmed.
We copy and we see the same thing here, and it looks like you guys agree that the grapple fixture is within the capture volume on both camera views.
That's affirmative. In both camera views, the grapple fixture is stable and within the grapple volume.
Fantastic. Block 10 is complete.
So at this point, HTV-4 has reached its capture point just 30 feet away from the International Space Station. A final series of systems checks to be performed. You heard Chris Cassidy indicate from the cupola that everything looks great for the crew on board. The final go, no-go for capture to be provided in one last poll by Flight Director Ed Van Cise here in Mission Control before Karen Nyberg begins to move the remote manipulator system in for the capture of the cargo ship.
You see that the FRGF step lights are lit, the hold lights are not lit, so the HCP LED status matches as expected in Block 11, and we're happy with the lighting conditions. As far as we're concerned on board, the capture prep is confirmed, and we are ready for HTV capture.
And Chris, we weren't quite ready for Block 11 yet, so we'll stand by, and we might have to ask you to do that again. Sorry. Okay, Expedition 36 crew, we copy. It looks like we got what we needed from your early Block 11. So please stand by for a go to perform capture. Please stand by.
Absolutely, we're standing by.
Flight Director Ed Van Cise now polling his team of flight controllers to get a final go, no-go for capture. Everything looking great on board the International Space Station and on the HTV itself. And HTV flight controllers and scuba are also go for capture.
Station Houston, the moment we've been waiting for. You are go for the HTV capture sequence, which is step 4 in the robotics procedure 1.110, and begin monitoring the back-away cue card. And since we're a few minutes early, please make sure and observe the no exercise constraint.
Okay, that's great news, and we understand that we are go for capture. We're transitioning to step 4 of the robotic procedure 1.110, and the back-away cue card's in hand, and understand that it's in effect from now until we transition over the pin.
That is correct, and confirmed. Definitely you have a go for capture sequence. Good luck.
Thanks very much. It's a beautiful sight here.
With that, Chris Cassidy monitoring all of the systems and providing the communications with Capcom Mike Fink here in Mission Control. Center stage now goes to Karen Nyberg at the cupola at the robotics workstation, as she will now begin to slowly move the Canadarm2 in for a grapple of HTV-4 to complete its 5.5 day journey from the launch pad in Tanegashima, Japan. The journey of HTV-4 beginning with its launch last Saturday afternoon U.S. time in the pre-dawn hours of Sunday at Tanegashima. This is Mission Control Houston. As we enter the final minutes before the grapple of HTV-4, it's worth noting that we are expected to lose our downlink television capability. Murphy at work here, Murphy's Law in work. We'll be losing a downlink TV capability from the station just about 2.5 minutes from now. So we may not actually see the actual capture, but we certainly will be reporting it as it happens. The HTV-4 has now been placed in free drift on command from Japanese flight controllers in Tsukuba, disabling all of its thrusters and avoiding any inadvertent thruster firings that could disrupt the grapple procedures.
Houston Station, we're starting the approach.
Copy.
The robotics officer here in Mission Control reports the arm in motion. And having lost our downlink TV capability, we now switch to the graphically portrayed computer-generated image from both the robotics console and the visiting vehicle officer's console. The International Space Station now in free drift. 1 meter away from capture. Latching end effector over the pin. Capture confirmed at 6:22 a.m. Central Time. Grapple confirmed. The International Space Station and HTV-4 flying 260 miles south of South Africa.
Houston Station capture is complete. We'd like to say congratulations to the entire JAXA team and everybody else around the world who has successfully gotten the 4th HTV to the International Space Station.
And Karen and the rest of the Expedition 36 crew, congratulations. And Scuba sends her thanks and congratulations. Down here we show a successful grapple and capture of the Kounotori cargo vehicle. Good work. Kounotori wa Nihon no Gijutsu no Kessho desu. Nihon no minasan omedetou gozaimasu.